Hi everyone, I'm Daniel, and today I just want to talk about a good card. This is Established Motive. It's in the new Carolyn Fern deck, and I played it recently in the Mandy Thompson Legacy run through the Feast of Hemlock Vale on my channel, and I thought I'd put it in because Mandy likes to search for cards. Anyway, what is this card? It is a skill card. It has one wild icon. It is practiced as its trait. In the text, if this skill test is successful, the performing investigator searches the top 6 cards of their deck for an insight event, draws it, and shuffles their deck. It's pretty simple, and I think it's a really nice way for seekers to draw cards in this game. I really like the search type effects. In chapter 1, we had a lot of that. There was some other synergy with research, which was something that triggered when you searched part of your deck, and one of the research cards was part of it. We don't have that yet, but I kind of want to see that back because, again, Seekers draw lots of cards, and I think really a more healthy space for Seekers is to do a search effect like this instead. So selection, card selection, instead of just mass card draw, I think is a better place for the game. Now, inside events aren't any old card too, so this does mean you need to put a chunk of them in your deck if you want to run this, but I don't think that's very hard in Chapter 2. Let's take a quick look at all the insight events that you could be playing. Hey, there's a lot of them. I think there's just a couple in Guardian worth talking about because of Joe Diamond right now being able to play this. I think it's mostly just if he wants to pick up some fast clues with lesson learned or with scene of the crime just to use on a future turn, or maybe even if he uses established motive in the Mythos phase, he could potentially use this too. But most of it's in Seeker, and we're not too surprised about that. There's a lot of cards here that you're probably just running anyway because there's not that many cards in Chapter 2 yet. That said, I think they're all just fine cards to have. Like, you're going to want to run Gather Intel. Preposterous Sketches is fine for that mass draw, but of course that costs resources in an action, which again, more healthy. Psychoanalysis, fine. Unflappable, Working a Hunch. These are all good choices at level 0. And when you're searching the top 6, I don't think you need to run too many to make this worth it. Upgrade ones, we've got Through the Cracks. The level 2s, it's better than level 0. It's all right. Potentially, though, this is kind of interesting for dealing with enemies, right? If you are maybe taking a Mythos test and then you need to draw something to evade, you can get there with Through the Cracks or Unflappable. Psychoanalysis level 3 one is just a really good card. This one also does the same kind of search for a card out of the top 3 instead of top 6, but it's any card. And then the healing horror part's really good too. So just, compounding your card draw a little bit. And then there's level 5, Unbridled Knowledge, which does get you 3 cards, but that costs you a bunch. And Joe's signature card, of course, here, which has the same art, which isn't supposed to be the case. This is supposed to have different art than Established Motive. We'll get that fixed sometime in the future. And that one, if you draw this off of Established Motive during your turn, then you can get some more cards, and that's kind of cool, I suppose. It's just nice to have another target. Out of class, we got just 2 other ones. Will the Cosmos. I didn't realize that was an insight. That's pretty funny. Okay. Sure, good card. Don't have anyone who could take both right now, but in Legacy, sure. And then Glassing, I think, is also a pretty darn good way to get some clues and would be a nice thing to pick up from Established Motive. Pretty simple card. I just feel like it's aggressively fair in terms of what it's doing in Seeker right now, which is just drawing another card out of the top 6. It allows you to choose what you need and avoid some of the stuff that you might not want at the time. I like that it's a wild icon. We're going to go ahead and compare this to kind of the legacy version of this. It reminded me straight away of it. It's, of course, Eureka, right? This was an old card from Carcosa, I think, that didn't have a wild icon, but it's pretty close. It was one of 3 different skills: willpower, intellect, or agility. And this one, if the skill test is successful, the investigator performing this test, which is the same thing as the Established Motive text really, searches the top 3 cards of their deck for a card, any card, draw it, shuffle. So this one, you don't search as much, and you're not able to use combat, I suppose, which is not that big of a deal for Seekers, but for Joe, and it's any card, just the top 3. So in some senses, Eureka's better, but I feel like they're pretty similar in what they're doing here. I like established motive only targeting inside events and not just getting you, some busted asset or something like that, or drawing into more skills. They are different in terms of their trait, practiced versus innate. Right now, that doesn't really matter in chapter 2. Back in chapter 1, I think what put a lot of cards over the edge in the terms of practiced skills was another card called Practice Makes Perfect, and that allowed you to recur essentially those skills. You get to search it out of your deck, commit it, and then commit it again later if that test was successful, the initial one, and that's a bit dangerous. Without that, I think Established Motive is fine. With Practice Makes Perfect, um, it's still like okay, I think, but cards like Practice Makes Perfect that get double duty out of skills probably shouldn't exist. Not those kind. It's fine for Izzy taking some sort of extra cost for that and getting them from the discard pile, but I think Practice Makes Perfect was just a little bit too good for a level 0 card. Now, I do want to finish by saying, man, Established Motive has a nice effect because it is a fast draw, and Guardians would love something like this. Why don't they have a skill card that lets them search the top 6 or 9 or something for a weapon or something similar, some kind of a tool, maybe like Right Tool for the Job does, but that costs an action. It would be so much better for them to get this effect onto a skill card. I said earlier that I think Seekers, this is kind of where I want Seekers to land in terms of their power of card draw over other classes. But you know what? Maybe Guardians could get something like this, but pay some XP for it, right? Give me exactly this, search top 6, maybe 9 for a weapon, and make it cost 2 XP. Level 2 card, I think would be great. Alas, we don't have that. Guardians have to pay a resource and an action, but drawing fast is so much better. And it's important in a card game. People rely heavily on assets that just sort of passively draw them cards, whether it's stapled to some other sort of effect like Grim Memoir or onto a Succeed by 2 writer like Lucky Cigarette Case. It's just that you're not spending actions just drawing and getting one card off of Right Tool to Drop is not good enough, in my opinion. So, what a great card it would be if we get a 1 or 2 XP card in Guardian to help them tutor out the weapons that they may desperately need. Give it a combat icon. That's much worse than a single wild, but it would be good. Like you use your basic fight to try to fight something and then get the weapon out of your deck to, maybe finish off the uh, the enemy or be prepared for the next one that shows up. Anything like that. All right. Just give me something. All right. That's it for now. I think I've now done a little special video about a card from every class. It's taken a little while, but I like these short form videos. They're fun, interesting, and I do have something to say about most cards. So that's the Seeker one. I guess we'll go back to Rogue or Mystic or something sometime soon. Thanks for watching. See you next time.